Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, what's up, folks? Welcome into your TBC Weekly. We are back, better than ever, I hope. We're still working out the kinks in this platform you see here. So hopefully we're coming through crisp and clean and no caffeine. Get your comments, questions, everything into the chat. We are going to hit them tonight. For some reason, Shawn is MIA. Communication is difficult for some people. Anyway, we got Jeff here with us, and he and I are going to navigate our way through this Akron game. We're going to talk a little recap there, then get you set for this directional Michigan school that nobody cares about. Unfortunately, it's not Central Michigan, where I would love to see Ryan Day grab Jim McElwain by his throat and ask him why Connor Stalions was on the sidelines last year. But hey, let bygones be bygones, right, Jeff?
Well, if you saw the documentary, Connor Stalions says it wasn't even him.
I know, it looked nothing like him, right?
No. Yeah.
But nobody can account for that person on the sidelines, and they're with a pass, with a team pass.
Yeah,
So,
I wonder what that investigation turned up. Their internal investigation, they said they were having. Fuck out of here. Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't watch the documentary. I never will, because I will not give that asshole or those assholes my eyeballs. I knew it was not going to be anything revealing. So,
of course not.
And that's basically what I heard from everybody and everybody. Anyway, let me get things going here. Let's see. Let me get into it here. So, hey, folks, we appreciate you joining us. Yes, we are here to talk Buckeye football. I know it's a holiday weekend. We appreciate you taking the time away from whatever you might be doing today. But please support the show by visiting thebuckeyecast.com. Again, thebuckeyecast.com. And check out the shop. Shirts, hats, get yourself something to start the season off with. And share the show with a friend. That really helps us. Subscribing, leaving a comment, just hitting the like button. These are all free things you can do on YouTube. And if you're listening on podcasts, just follow the show, leave a review. All that stuff helps other people find the Buckeye Cast. And if you like Buckeye fans, we've kind of created a nice little community here. So please help grow it. Where our next goal is 3,500 subscriptions on the YouTube site. So we appreciate you helping us with that. I do have a question for the chat before me and Jeff get going here. Who do you got tonight? We have a kickoff. Oh, it's already kicked off, I think. LSU -4 versus USC out in Vegas. I don't know how many LSU people know how to get to Vegas. Jeff, how do you think that LSU fans would get to Vegas? Wagons?
Wagons. No, pickup trucks for sure. Cargo vans maybe. But they're definitely going to be there.
U-Hauls? Maybe a bunch of them in the back of a U-Haul?
I tell you what, LSU fans, that's one SEC game or field environment, whatever, that I'd like to go experience because those boys know how to party. So I can imagine LSU's going to have quite a contingent there in Vegas, I'm guessing. Jello shots, the whole nine.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans is like one of the party capitals of the world. I can attest to that. regardless of
I
LSU
can as
fans or
well.
not. I wouldn't. I would never go back. I don't care how much you pay me. That place is a toilet. But
Yes, correct. I agree.
if you go there at the right time, there's a lot of I would call it scattered ass around. A lot of females seem
Yeah.
to like toilets. Anyway, no, let's not get into that. We're going down a steep slope, a dark alley, which is basically north. When did you go there?
I was there 2019. Probably in the spring, right after Mardi Gras and all that shit. But
Oh,
yeah, if anybody knows Northwest Ohio, picture Fostoria, dirty
oh,
but just a little bit bigger.
yeah. I don't think Fostoria has horses. Cops on horses. They might
Or
need them.
above,
Then maybe they should.
maybe they should. Uh, but yes, yeah, it's very like you said, dirt hole, dirty, grimy. But you could find just about anything you wanted. If you have a vice in your life,
Mm,
you could expand upon it greatly in New Orleans. That's for sure.
yeah, 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 yeah. They call it the Vegas of the South. I think. Maybe not.
Who?
Maybe I just made that up. But anyway, so what else do we need to get into? Oh, I do want to get because I haven't talked to you in a long time. I want to get your take on this. Archie Griffin getting his statue in the rotunda. I got to get your feedback on that. What do you think of Arch finally, what, 50 years later, getting a statue? I mean, how close to death do you have to be here to get a fucking
Yeah,
statue?
better late than never. But very
Very
100% well
late.
deserved. Yeah, it could have they could have done that the 20th anniversary, the 25th. Uh, but I mean, 50 years. And Arch, of course, Arch has never wanted to politic for himself, or he was never out campaigning for this. Probably one of the greatest dudes. But hands down, anything you hear from anyone that has ever met that man says he's one of the greatest humans of all time.
Yeah.
We couldn't have a better ambassador for as a program. I don't think any school in the country has an ambassador anywhere close to this, with what he's done for the length of time he's done it. Very well deserved. I got my Archie Griffin jersey, like many people do. Um,
Mhm.
salute to the goat for sure. Great ambassador for the program. Well deserved.
Yeah. I've never seen that guy anywhere, even when he's not on camera. I've never seen him without a smile.
No, exactly,
You know,
and nobody can say that they have. I mean, I've never heard a bad a bad story or a bad interaction with about him ever.
No. And he's been an ambassador for the school whenever they call. Like, doesn't matter. You know, you're
Yeah,
breaking ground on a new building, call up Arch. You know, and he'll be there with a smile on his face. This guy's done more for the school, I think, than you can really fathom. You know, and he's a living legend for Christ's sake. I mean, come on. It's going to be a sad day when he passes, but I'm glad we're far away from that. This guy's like all positivity, and that's what really keeps everybody coming back and taking the photos with him, shaking the hands, and all that stuff. Man, he's a great dude.
yeah,
So,
and the interview they had with the sideline reporter caught him. He looks great too. Looks
oh
great.
yeah, yeah.
Always talking about how special the team's going to be this year. Always
He
talking
scored a
team first.
touchdown in last year's spring game, in case you forgot.
I did not forget. But yeah, awesome, just awesome dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, so happy for him. Got to dot the I too. Um, that's just he. You list the names of people that have dotted that I. He definitely belongs in that group. Doesn't take a
yeah.
backseat to any of them.
Oh no, hell no. He's probably done more for the Ohio State program than anybody else that's
Oh,
dotted the I, except
yeah.
maybe Woody.
That's I was gonna say
He's
him and
done
Woody.
more than Jack Nicklaus. He's done more than Bob freaking Hope. I'll tell you that. I mean, come on.
And Jack, you talking about Jack Nicholas? He is he's not bad. He's not a bad resume either.
No, no,
not a
no,
bad. Yeah,
no.
but you're right.
Love
You're
the
right.
guy.
Nobody more deserving than Archie. He epitomizes high state football for sure.
Exactly. So, all right. I'm gonna keep my eyeballs out. See if Shawn decides to join, or if he just took his own vacation day without telling anybody, because that happens.
Yeah,
But
I
we're
like to
talking.
hear Sparty. I like to hear what Sparty Nation is talking about after that
Yeah,
nail biter, maybe almost.
that's a great point. And the Double A over there in Ann Arbor did not have a fucking easy way of it either. Seems like we should get into that at some point tonight.
Sure.
But first, we'll start off with our Buckeyes. Please get your comments and questions in the chat. You know I'm going to hit them up. We got everybody live. I got people watching on Twitter right now. I can see them. The Instagram live. Yep. Pete Johnson is in. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Pete. And then, of course, on the YouTubes, we got everybody in here, the usual suspects. So, yeah, let's talk. So, I got my question into the chat. Who do you got tonight? LSU favored by 4 in Vegas against USC. I don't know how many USC fans really care to travel to Vegas. Seems like an
Good point.
easy trip. I mean, but USC fans rarely give a shit. So let's talk about the Buckeye win yesterday over Akron. Jeff, if you listen to the post game press conferences with Ryan Day, Will Howard, they're basically in lockstep. They said the team was tight early on in that first half, but then loosened up in the second half, really got things going, which in the past, we've seen it an entire first game be tight and closer than it should, but they really opened shit up in the second half. How'd you feel about that first half?
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Just going 3 and out on offense there. I thought IGB was getting ejected on the first play of the game. I don't mind the play. I don't mind the play so much, but it's just like, God damn. I don't know how that wasn't targeting. But
He used his back. He used his back to hit the quarterback with his in the head.
I guess, yeah. But just the offense. Just how almost like they were trying to do way too much that they weren't. They didn't. I guess they didn't practice their first scripted plays enough. It seemed like. Um, just frustrated. Just like just you want to play. You want like we talked about. You want to play sharp. No mental breakdowns. You just didn't care what the score was. We knew we were going to win, but you want to play clean, have a clean game, and we started off not looking clean at all. Jeremiah Smith looked like a freshman playing his first college football game. The first couple series there, missing a block, dropping a pass.
Yeah.
Just
pick. You missed the pick there on that Ennis play.
Yep. Yeah, he came around. we could say, I guess.
Yeah, I think he did okay.
But frustrated. I mean, just right off the rip, just frustrated. There's a lot of teams that did not have that little, playing too tight, not looking sharp. First couple drives. Some other teams in the country look just fine. So it's frustrating that we did look that way, but definitely got it straightened out though. Defense held their own. So all in all, final score looked like it should. But yeah, definitely frustrated that first drive on offense. Good Lord.
Well, Donovan Jackson didn't start at all.
Yeah. Where was
They're
that?
holding
Where'd
him
that come
out.
from? Yeah.
Well,
I did.
he went through some stuff in fall camp. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought I heard that it was like a hammy leg thing, but he was in and out of practice over fall, so it's not a huge surprise. I would rather they just sit him for as many weeks as you have to until
Sure.
we get to
Sure.
Oregon, And Saraveld got in. He was starting for. He's the backup, which should be
Which
noted. It was a
I didn't know
second.
that
He's a
either.
second-year guy. Yeah, 76 or 67. Sorry.
67, right?
Yeah, and my dyslexia kicking in. But Sarabelle did well. I'm not saying he's perfect, by any stretch. He's only a redshirt freshman. This is his second year. Didn't play at all
Yeah.
last year, so I don't know what you can expect. Honestly, a Donovan Jackson versus a redshirt freshman, probably not fair to compare them. But again, it's Akron, so you should be able to execute. I would say, um, yes, the O line in the run game was less than average in the first half, especially the first quarter. Quinshawn could not get it going till later on. Trey had his moments, he had those bursts where you think he's going to take it to the house, and he took one for
Yeah.
like 20, took another one for 9. He slips. Of course, he always slips on the fucking turf for some reason. But yeah, the running game took a while to get going. We still end up with over 400 yards total offense. I was expecting more. I was
Yeah. Over
expecting
5.
300,
Over 5.
offense to defense. Kind of a split there that you hope for. Yeah, 500 would have been, exceptional too. But yeah,
Achievable against Akron.
right. You didn't have the big, huge chunk plays. A lot of it was methodical, moving down the field. You did have the occasional big plays to Jeremiah. You had a big 40-yarder there, 45 yards, whatever it was. But they loosened up in the second half, though. You got to say, like, everything got better in the second half. And so I want to get your MVPs on offense and defense. I'll give the same. I'll let you go first, and then I got our score predictions here and microscopes that we will rehash as well. I'll give you the score or the microscopes so you can agree or disagree with your MVP because they may not be the same. I had Judkins and Sonny Styles. Shawn had Will Howard and Jack Sawyer. You had Jeremiah and Sonny Styles. So give me your MVP on offense and defense.
I mean, and offense, Jeremiah Smith was the biggest performer, but Will Howard, I thought he looked real good. I was real happy to see what Will Howard was doing. Um, so I'd go co-MVP Howard and Smith on offense. On defense, I think Lathan Ransom. Um,
Yeah,
J,
that's probably
JT
an
should get
easy
some
one.
votes maybe. Um, but Lathan Ransom looked like he looked healthy. He looked like what we expect a healthy Lathan Ransom to look like.
Yeah.
So really happy to see that. Really happy to see him back. I was concerned about multiple leg injuries coming back. Does he still have that the explosion, the big play capability? And he showed that he does so far. So I mean, there's a couple other guys that can go around on defense, but I say
Yeah.
Latham and I take Cohen. I take Cohen VPs because Jeremiah struggled at first, but the balls that Howard was putting onto him, right on his fucking face mask, man. I mean, like on point. The first touchdown fade pass,
Yeah.
give the guy a chance to catch a ball like he did. So I go co-MVP there on offense.
Okay, that's legit. I got no problem with that. I got to tell Shawn that people are asking for for your WMU report. Yeah, he's not coming up yet. But anyways, I'll keep an eye out.
Yep.
For me, I mean, Quinchon had a tough time getting it started. I know, but my MVP really has to go to Jack Sawyer. He beat the fuck out of that quarterback. Oh my god,
Yes,
he
he
was
did.
in there every drop back, and they were getting rid of the ball quickly, man. They were running RPOs, three
Yes.
step drops, get rid of it. And Jack lit that dude up. Back to back plays. I think he broke that freaking guy's ribs.
That dude did
I
not have
think.
a good day, man. You saw they kept handing over to him on the sidelines. He's fucking rubbing his chest and shit with a grimace on his face, shoulder pads off.
Oh yeah.
That dude is not feeling. He's still not feeling it. I'm sure that's gonna affect him
I
all
think he
season.
got a broken rib in there. He was having a tough time breathing and shit on the field. So I got Jack, man. Jack, it might not show up on the
Yeah.
stat sheet, just a couple tackles, but
Well, you're right.
he got some serious pressures, man. I was going to check. I have the PFF rankings up here, or the grades. Let's go pass rush, total pressures. Yeah, he led the team with 4 pressures, 3 hits on the quarterback, and 1 hurry. Did not
Yeah.
get an official sack. JT got 2.
Yeah.
Tyleek got 1. CJ got 1. And Mitchell Melton got in there
Yep.
in that Rushman package. I love that package, man. That's what she said. But yeah.
Hey.
So I'm going Jack for my defensive MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Offense, Emeka got so screwed. I feel bad for him. I want to go Emeka. I mean, he got that bullshit. He had the touchdown in the end zone where he
Yep.
landed on his hand, had control. They called him with no control. It's bullshit. He had it pinned against his stomach when he came down.
And at first I thought I didn't at first I didn't think he had the forearm down before the foot went out of
Right,
bounds.
right,
So I thought, okay, just the hand didn't count as
right.
far as possession. But when they said he bobbed, possession, didn't have possession of the ball. Well, if you're watching that replay, and I thought the only thing they would be looking at was the forearm down to be as a down receiver versus the foot. I don't see how you if you watch the rest of that replay to the end, how do you say that the ball fucking bobbled? I don't know. Yeah, he deserved that first touchdown for sure.
Mm.
Uh, hell of a play. Emeka he looked good overall. Uh, but I just like I said, when I was watching the game with a couple people here, I said, all right, well that's the first touchdown we get screwed out of. I think I counted 12 touchdowns last year that I thought we got screwed out of. We're starting off the season right where we left off. So luckily it didn't affect us too much. We end up
Right,
getting the touchdown with Jeremiah, but yeah,
right.
Emeka looked the part for sure. Um, Judkins, yeah, you're right. He didn't he wasn't finding the groove so much, but they were getting cracks open. They weren't getting any type of not even a seam or a hole, but
Mm-hmm.
we were barely getting any breathing room for the running backs.
Right,
Which was like I go back to my frustration with that offensive line, not
right.
getting a push,
Yeah,
not getting out on a guy, not containing the edge.
yeah.
Our tackles, I thought Terravold played better than both our tackles did,
Hmm. Okay.
um, which was the frustration part. But
Yeah, yeah. I would, if we're going to pile on to the run blocking game, I would pile on the tight ends too. I saw a
what the
lot
hell?
of,
What are we playing 4 tight ends for in the first quarter? What are we doing?
well,
If we have 4, we don't have 2. I guess I don't know. I mean, we
I
ran through all four guys were playing. All 4, our first 4 were playing in the first quarter, and I'm like, what kind of continuity is that?
well, yeah. I didn't see 4. I saw 3. What's up, Henry? Sean's in.
What's going on, guys?
What's happening, Shawn?
We were we're skating through our Akron kind of recap and refresh. Kind of we're in the bitching session, the bitching mode right now of the show. But I do want to get back to you and your MVPs. Uh, I gave Jack Sawyer as my MVP. I know he was your microscope guy. Um, Same as Will Howard was your microscope, Shawn. Um, but let's we'll come to you for your MVPs. What are your takeaways, good or bad? Let's go good, bad, and ugly on the Akron game.
Um, Good. Let's see. Good. Um, it was all kind of good. Well, not all of it was kind of good, but I mean, just like we do every year, a little bit over expectations. 56-0. I think you probably need to adjust your 4.5 shutout over under after today.
What?
Um, the the
Never.
the the ugly was the O line play. I didn't feel that Donovan Jackson was hurting us there, but that play was terrible. I thought the bad. I would say 0 completions. I don't even know if there's any targets to a tight end in that game.
One.
And the good, I would say, was Will Howard. I think that he handled it well. Didn't start out real hot. Had some guys dropping some balls early,
Yeah.
shook that off and finished strong. So that the good, bad, and ugly all on the offensive side of the ball. The defense looked pretty solid to me. Held them 2 scores, obviously. As far as MVP goes, I would take Jeff didn't take him already. Lathan Ransom had himself a day. He was everywhere.
Right.
All we heard was Caleb Downs, but Ransom was all over the field. And I agree with you, Joe. I probably would have taken Jack Sawyer. He didn't show up on the stat sheet much, but the guy was a menace. On offense, again, I like the way Will Howard played, but I think Trey looks like the Trey we all remember, and looked decisively better than Quinshon in that drive. Now, I think part of that's the interior line push that Trey seemed to be running a little bit more outside, where Quinshon's trying to make his money up the middle, and that interior of the O line just isn't getting it done.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I agree, Shawn. Shawn, we got you. Yeah, I agree, Shawn. I think Trey did look a lot. I think considerably more explosive than Quinshon. But like I was talking with Joe, the frustration I had with the first start of the game, the first part of the game, whereas we weren't giving them even a seam to run through. Let alone a hole. Shit. But I thought Trey did look more explosive. Um, the continuity with the O line, you chalk it up to whatever it is. I can't. I'm not saying that Quinshon was overhyped in the SEC. I'm not saying that at all. I'm excited to see what both of them will be doing going forward. But
I don't even blame Quinshon.
I know. I'm not. No, not knocking him at all. Yeah, I want to make that clear. I wasn't knocking Quinshon at all, his performance at all. Just he wasn't. Just I don't know, man. I ran the ball, and when I played, if your line is not giving you a crease, man, if you're getting hit at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, it's hard to make some big plays in the open field if you're constantly breaking tackles just to get 3-4 yards. And that's what we were dealing with, at the outset of that game.
It should be noted while we're talking about the O line and the running game, they gave up 0 sacks,
not
0 TFLs.
I was hoping, expecting a lot more, and so now that's really the one thing that I wanted to see, like the big improvement moving forward, to have me, just booming with confidence, and I didn't see it.
Yeah. I understand, but 0 sacks, 0 TFLs. I think that matters. I realize it's Akron, but yeah, I
It does matter.
understand
It
that
does.
the O line is always going to be at least, you know, they've been the focus for the last year, and now year into year two. So
I say
I
year
think
4. I
having
say year
Donovan
4 of that,
Jackson
Joe.
out really affected things.
I say year 4 of that, Joe. With the O line not holding up their end to the other outstanding talent on that offensive side of the ball. Um, it looked like same. It looked like more of the same. Just
Okay.
like from last year, the frustration with, look, we got all these fucking weapons. We got explosive players everywhere,
Right.
and the O line is letting us down. Um, it, it looked like more of the same. I didn't see the big improvement from our right and left tackles. Um,
Hmm.
I don't remember a lot of missed assignments from Cibola or Sarivold, both making their first starts, first
Yeah.
serious playing time. I thought they held up. Um, McLaughlin, I saw missed a couple calls, but I put more on our tackles. Our tackles are who we're supposed to be leaning on, and I don't see the I did in this game first half. I didn't see the improvement we thought we were going to see, or what we were led to believe.
Well, if you want to, let's go by PFF grades, and 60 is doing your job. Obviously, above that is doing more than your job. So bare minimum, Josh Fryer was the worst run blocker, the
I,
right tackle. Everybody else though was over 70. Josh Fryer was a 64.9. So yeah, there were times, and I'm not. Don't get me started on the freaking tight ends, man, because
I,
G. Scott, uh, Jelani was in there for a few snaps. These guys are worthless in the run blocking game, which can make the offensive line look bad. You know, I'm
sure.
not saying they're the reason, but I'm saying if they're not doing their job, there's a big problem. You know,
I, yeah. Okay, Shawn. One thing I said to Joe real quick. I said, why are we playing? Why are we 4 different tight ends playing in the first quarter? I saw Bennett Christian out there. I saw Kazmarek. I saw Jelani. They're moving him out. They're putting him in. Line them up off the line in the slot. And G Scott, I know started, but I didn't hear his name at all. I think he has
The
zero
coach was
zero
probably
impact on the
over
game.
there screaming at him, because we didn't throw to any of them, yet we can't open up any holes against Akron. And it's like, get me a guy in there that can fucking block.
Which I believe Bennett Christian's probably our uh, best blocking tight end.
I don't know. He
But
didn't
I
play
mean,
at all, so it's hard to say that.
wait a minute, are you saying Bennett Christian did not play at all?
He had the
In-
PED suspension.
Oh, that was last year. Last year, okay. So I know I saw him on the field.
Yeah,
Um,
he played. He had
yeah,
let's see, 9 snaps total. Jelani had 18. 8 of those were on uh, pass blocking and run blocking, and 10 of them he went out in a route. G. Scott in for 8 blocking snaps, 19 total. Wilkes Merrick, 20 snaps total. 12 of them he was blocking,
right. What
mostly on run blocking. Most of
I
the tight
mean,
ends were used for run blocking.
and it's going to be real easy to define what we're doing is if we got 2 guys that come in when we run the ball and the other 2 guys come in when we pass the ball. That's
Yep.
that's really basic. That's remedial defensive reading what the offense is trying to do on a play-by-play basis, according to personnel. Or what do we
I
do?
wonder if they're just trying to find 2 they can play with, honestly.
I,
So that's why they're
why
throwing 4
Why
out
don't we know
there.
yet? Why don't we know yet? Right?
Well,
I understand your point, Joe, but I'm saying like, why do we not know which we have
Because
4,
we don't
which
have
ones can
anybody
play?
that's good. and not many of these guys even have many snaps, and you got to put them in there to figure out, okay, they're all pretty average. Who's going to be a little bit better? And none of them have played before except Kazmarek, and he played small ball.
Yeah.
He played against Akron all the time. He played against Akron 3 times.
It didn't work out this week.
No.
Shawn, can you pump up the volume on your microphone? I got it cranked here on my end. You're just coming in really soft.
Oh,
That's
trying.
what she said.
Is this a little better?
There you go. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Henry coming in soft. I never heard that before.
That was not a shot at your masculinity at all whatsoever. You'll know when I take a shot at that.
You can't done it.
MVPs. I know we got our microscopes here. Let's real quick talk about our MVPs before we get moving on. I got one that is gonna blow your fucking socks off, Shawn, and you, Jeff. So Jeff, who are your MVPs again? Can you repeat that for Shawn?
I split the offensive with Jeremiah and with Will Howard. And my defensively, I went Lathan Ransom. Like I said, there are probably 3 or 4 guys I could have easily taken that mantle. But I thought Lathan Ransom looked explosive, making big plays. I heard his name a lot more than Caleb Downs. I saw him a lot more than Caleb Downs. So,
yeah.
But Jack Sawyer very well deserved. He would have been my number 2.
Jack Sawyer is nobody's number 2. Number 2, Henry. So your MVPs, offense and defense, are officially who?
Well, I mean, I don't want to go on your thunder, but yeah, to Jeremiah, it's going to be fun to watch him play for the next 3 years, or at least 2, unless he starts mailing it in his 3rd year.
Yeah.
But man, that kid and the talent, it's nice. I'm glad. I like the wide receiver room, obviously. Good take with him, but I'll stick with Trey. I think Trey did what he had to do when he was out there. I think was fired up, brought some inspiration to that team, and so I'll go with Trey on offense. On defense, I wanted Ransom or Jack. I guess I'll have to slide and take Tumialo. What do you get? The sack and a half?
Credit was 2. I think they gave him 2 total, right? They gave him 2 on the stat sheet.
I saw 2. I saw TFL and 1.5 sacks. So yeah.
But exactly what I'm looking for out of JT and Sawyer to start the year.
Yep.
And then later, the backups, they were, I think, who was it that forced that fumble on
Caden Curry?
Caden Curry.
Yeah.
Great hustle play. Great hustle play.
Edric Houston, his face caused that pick 6 by Gabe Powers.
I'd love to see Edric Houston out there as a freshman. Meaningful
He has
snap.
length. His face even has length.
Boy, that boy looks like he looks like the proper DN. He does.
Yeah. So those are good. I'm going Emeka on offense because he got totally hosed on a couple calls. He got totally hosed on a couple passes that Will Howard did not really help him out on. He got cleaned on 2 catches that it's hard to make that catch and get railroaded by a DB in your chest. So, and then the catch in the end zone. How's that not a touchdown? That ball was not moving in his stomach. He's holding it with the left. Feet are in the air because he got cleaned. He got hit below the waist, so your feet are up in the air. He comes down, puts his hand in the end zone, on the ground, in the painted area. That's a touchdown, man. The refs called it the ball was moving when it came to the ground. No, bullshit. That fucking ball never moved, man.
He never. The ball may have moved, but the possession was never in question.
It never came loose. It moved with his body, maybe.
Yes, exactly. It jostled, right. It jostled, but how that rule is interpreted is the ball moving in possession was questionable. The possession of that ball was never in question at all. It may have moved, but he continued all the way through the catch, all the way to the ground after contact with the ground.
That was one of those acrobatic catches like Garrett Wilson would make. Marv with that freaky one with his ankle. That was one of those freaky catches. That should have been a touchdown, man. And so I'm going with Emeka on offense, and Jack just because he basically killed that guy, that quarterback. I would say that quarterback should have looked at the schedule before he transferred in from Cal. Might have been an easier road out there in Cal.
The ACC, much softer.
Yeah. Jack hit that dude twice in a row on incomplete passes, and his ribs will never be the same.
And totally legal hits, clean hits, not to the head. Fuck it, Jack measured them exactly right and did what you're fucking supposed to do as a defensive end: punish the quarterback legally,
and roll over top of him.
Did they roll out Igbenogson early after that first play? I thought, oh gosh, targeting, here we go, he's done.
Oh yeah, I thought he was gone first play.
But when you went back and looked at it, it was his back. He hit the fucking quarterback with his back. It wasn't even his shoulder. It was the back of his shoulder pads.
His forearm
that made contact. I don't know how you could possibly do that on purpose.
Well, think about that body control that he has because he knows he's sliding. So he's trying to avoid it. He's trying to avoid it, but still makes the hit and bounces dude's head off the turf. Yeah. That's body control, man. That's athleticism at its finest right there. Because he knew if he fucking drilled him with his forearm or shoulder pad, he was ejected for sure. Yeah, or helmet. He fucking was turning his body to try to avoid it, but still achieve what you wanted to achieve, which is that quarterback runs, you fucking smack him. I mean, it was awesome. But I thought he was. I didn't think they were going to cut him loose on that. I thought they were going to.
It was way too close. Like he's got to pull back. Like you can't do that when the guy's sliding. You got to show some restraint. IGB. I love the aggressiveness, but you're borderline. Like you could have been thrown out of the game, right there.
Sure, easily. Yeah. I thought for sure. Even after the replay slow motion, I was like, there's no way they're going to let him stay. You know. With it being a quarterback, especially the way they're protecting quarterbacks,
he was already into the slide. His ass was basically on the ground at that point. You cannot go above the waist on him.
You do have to give him credit though for turning his body as much as he did to make it questionable.
Yeah, in the act of moving, yes, he did the most body control moves you could. I definitely could not pull that off, even in my best of days. All right, so let's keep it moving here. Anything else from the Akron game we need to cover? Shawn, you got anything that stood out to you, offense, defense? Oh, I got something. I'll let you guys go first. So, Shawn, you go first with anything else you wanted to
add? I'll add that Ennis looks good. We're returning punts again, so that's pretty cool.
See, you just fucking stole my fucking
mine too. God damn
it. Good. I'm glad. That means something good happened. That's a good thing.
He's going to return a punt this year. He will return a punt this year.
Ryan Day called it. Last week, he called it.
Our best option at punt returner, by far, for sure.
4 punt returns, 60 yards. That's a 15-yard average. I don't know if we've ever averaged that. And long of 36.
Just blocking the backs, bullshit. But he's going to break one this year. He will send one to the house. He stays healthy and plays all season. We will get one for sure.
I'm glad we all were on the same page there. I love Ennis. I love everything about Ennis. He's my guy. Like, if I were going to buy a jersey of a player ever again, which it would be an 11 for Brandon Ennis. The guy's got the energy, leadership. He will do anything you ask him to do on the team, like he did in high school. He played quarterback, running back, receiver. The guy will fucking do it all, and he can do it all really, really well.
Joe, I was going to say, I think we see Ennis in some Wildcat this year.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
I think we do.
Sign
with
me
with
up.
Trey and Quinshawn both in the backfield, and
Oh,
Ennis taking the snap.
a little
I mean,
triple
just
option. Yeah.
as a wrinkle, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Wishbone. All right. I love it. I got a little Weller 107 here. This shit tastes like magic. Um,
Got a little Eagle Rare myself.
oh, here you go. Yeah. It's from the same family.
Uh-huh.
All right. Anything else from the Akron game we need to cover? You guys.
Did we say Jeremiah Smith might be pretty
No.
good this year? Did we cover that? We think
Uh,
we might have something with him with number 4. We might have something there.
yeah, I would say let's not expect him to lead the team in receiving every week.
No, but
That's my setting the expectations.
after a few jitters, get a few the first drive out of the way, he
Yeah.
looks the part for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
something to be excited about, Buckeye Nation.
We are going to have to talk about. Well, maybe there will be nothing to talk about tonight with the USC LSU game because it's still 0-0 and into the second quarter. But we are going to talk about the cheaters. We're going to talk about a couple other big games. But so score predictions, we were kind of on it, except we all had shutouts. We were close. I mean, I had 52-0. I'll say I went ahead and I'll take the win there. Shawn 56-0, Jeff 48-0. At least I nailed the Buckeye score, so pat myself on the back. What else? Do we want to cover anything else from week 1, or do you want to get into the Western Michigan Directional School
Oh, I
preview?
think I dropped off, but yeah, I mean, just the one thing, and it looked good, and I know they got a gel or whatnot, but to me, anything less than 500 yards in
Yep.
against Akron is a little suboptimal in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah. I mentioned that earlier too. I agree.
Yep.
400 yards is not acceptable. I was hoping for 300, offense each way, passing in
Now,
and rushing. We
I,
didn't
I
get
will
there.
say one thing. One thing about that, Joe. One thing, real quick. The two defensive scores that flips the ball right back to Akron. So it's not
Yep.
we're not pushing 3 and out punch where
Fair,
we're getting possessions. So
fair.
that can knock it a little bit down. But the execution, the lack of execution early in the game, first half, that is what prevented us from getting to that 500 or 550, 600 yard threshold.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but we
But
did. Hey, I'll take if we don't hit 500 total yards, but we get 2 defensive scores, that works too.
yeah. I mean, if the defense is going to outscore the other team's offense, I'll take that. I'll be
We'll
okay.
be in good shape. Yeah, we'll be in good shape
Right.
for sure.
I mean, if you look at total plays, like I can break it down for you here quickly. Akron actually had more plays than the Buckeyes. They had 81. We had 70.
Just one of those weird numbered stats that's like,
And a lot of that is them bleeding the clock down,
yes,
which teams have done for years, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. They try and bleed clock, especially these shitty teams.
oh
They
yeah,
they try and bleed it down, leave us with very little time to work with, and then their goal is to make it close in the fourth quarter. Well,
the
that
the Rut-
rarely
the,
fucking works.
the Rutgers manifesto.
Yeah, right. And then you get in a fight, try and get in a fight with Ryan Day because the punter takes off on a fake punt. Anyway, so yeah, total. There were some other things I was going to. Starting field position. Akron was the own 22. Buckeyes were their own 34. Average plays per drive. Akron 7.32. Buckeyes 8.16. Again, that points to the defensive scores. Yards per drive, though, this is a key number in my opinion. Akron 23.86. The Buckeyes 50.28. So, 27 more yards per drive there, which obviously points to the scoreboard. I could go on with a bunch of useless numbers that nobody cares about. So, Yeah, I think we covered everything on the Akron game. If there's anything else, I would like to move on. And let's talk about any other quickly. We got to get into the Western Michigan preview. That is a night game coming up. But if you guys have anything else on Akron,
No.
all right,
On to the next. On to the
Yeah, I'm
next.
good.
we're on to Cincinnati.
On to
Okay,
Cincinnati.
yep. 7:30. We'll go through a quick preview of Western Michigan. Then I want to talk about some of these big games like Clemson, Georgia, some
Oof.
of these other big games. The Cheaters, obviously, almost in a dogfight there. Take away that pick six at the end of the game. That's a fucking close one, Shawn. Did you see that?
I wasn't watching that really, but I saw that they hung around and were keeping it interesting, and then I read some of their boards this morning just for the
Oh,
comedic effect.
yeah.
They're no Akron. Fresno State. They're telling me would beat half the teams in the Big Ten.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. All right.
Jesus. Yeah, of course they would. Of course they would because Michigan played them. Fuck off.
Right.
I
Good.
watched that game. I had a Michigan fan over at the house
Yeah.
watching, so we watched. I watched play by play.
I
Fresno
went
State's
back and
defense.
watched. I watched
Yeah,
it today, actually.
yep.
So I definitely was not staying up till 12 o'clock or whatever to watch those douchebags. But Shawn, I'm going to need a little more volume out of you in the future. So
The future's now.
yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right.
How's that,
So
Joe? How's that?
Shawn, I'm going to let you give us your Broncos preview. I assume you have a dossier that is well detailed on the Western Michigan team.
I don't, but what I do have is uh, some tape where I just watched them play. Um, Wisconsin, and gave them
Yeah,
fits.
yeah,
They were in that game there for a while,
uh-huh.
and I think that was kind of their Super Bowl. They have to. I mean, poor Western Michigan. They have to go Wisconsin to Wisconsin and then to Columbus back to
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I think they gave a valiant effort. I think they're going to be a little bit beat up this week, probably, from playing in a game like that, and that doesn't bode well for the Broncos. I don't feel, but
Yeah.
they hung in there. What was that final? They lost by 2
That was
scores.
28-14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're rowing the boat again.
Wow. They've recommandeered the boat, huh?
I think so.
I didn't think that was possible, but I respect it.
But
Those
I mean,
those
I would
horses can't
think
swim,
anyway.
so like
Or
it's
or
horse boat.
or is Wisconsin trash? That's what I don't know.
Yeah,
I,
that's a fair point.
and that's hard to say though that Pickle's gonna have a trash ass team. You know what
But
I
they
mean?
weren't running. You look how they weren't running like Wisconsin should be running over Western Michigan.
Well, remember too, they don't run that offense that Wisconsin used to run with those big running backs and that big ass
Right.
offensive line.
Yep.
Now, if
Different.
old school Wisconsin, but they might have still ran for 300 yards and eight to clock and just beat and more physically beat up Western Michigan. But yeah, you're right. Western Michigan's defense, they were in for the fight. They were in for it. Just the lack of explosion on offense or any type of big play weapons.
Right.
And Wisconsin's not the Wisconsin that we've faced, in the previous 10 years either. But I can't say that Pickle's team is trash. I mean, he's too good of a coach and too well taught of a team. Um, Western Michigan's they're probably one of the better MAC. I would say they look like a better MAC school. Uh,
Yeah. Phil Steele has him ranked fifth in the conference, I believe. Yeah. So that's heading into the season. But one thing I need to point out with Wisconsin, and I know Luke Fickle is a defensive genius. I would have him as my DC any day of the week and twice on Saturdays. But they hired Alex Grinch.
oh.
Yeah.
That dude's still getting paychecks, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, now he's getting 2 probably.
Who
But
else
anyway,
did they just bring in there? Jack Del Rio's over there too, or
yeah,
something, isn't
he's over
Yeah,
there as
yeah.
like a football
Senior
ops
consultant.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's not say that Wisconsin is in great shape. I mean, I like Phil Longo, but I do not like Tyler Van Dyke. TVD is TBD, in my opinion. I've never seen this guy do anything well.
He had like a
He
6-game run at Miami. He had like a 6-game run
yeah,
3 years ago or some shit.
he
That's
was
it.
middle of the road of the transfer portal quarterbacks. Like talking middle of the road in transfer portal quarterbacks. So yeah, so the Wisconsin Western Michigan game, which Shawn, that's a good point for you to bring up. Wisconsin put up 388, but Western Michigan put up 261 on offense, 141 through the air, 120 on the ground, respectable.
Sure.
A couple turnovers there. You know, I'm assuming that quarterback had a pick. So yeah, that's a good kind of measuring stick for the Buckeyes. You know, before we get into this week's game. But again, like you said, what is Wisconsin? You know,
Doesn't Wisconsin got a big game coming up?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're hosting Bama.
Bama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not this week, but in 2 weeks.
Oh, no, it's next week, Joe.
No, they got South Dakota this week and Bama September 14th.
Oh, I thought, okay, but Texas, Michigan is next week, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that is.
I thought both of those games were next week.
Next week's slate is pretty lean.
Okay. I thought they were both next week. I read the promo on TV wrong then.
So, all right, let's get into Western Michigan here. So it's 7:30 night game on BTN in Columbus. So I'm not sure why, but
Yeah. What?
Because TV says so. So you got your head coach Lance Taylor coming in. He's 4-8 last year in his first year. 0-1 with the loss to Wisconsin last week. So he was a running backs coach at Stanford, then a wide receiver coach for the Carolina Panthers in the NFL, running back coach at Notre Dame after that. Then in 2022 was OC at Louisville. So this guy has bounced all over the map: West Coast, East Coast, Midwest. His new OC is Walt Bell. He was at Arkansas State, Maryland, Florida State. He was once head coach at UMass. He was OC at Indiana last year. So these guys, another example of these coaches that just bebop and pinball around when they don't have success. They did lose their 11-year DC, their defensive coordinator, and their new DC is Scott Power. He was the defensive coordinator the last 2 years at Louisiana Tech. So I'm sure that tells you nothing. You're welcome.
Okay.
We'll go. You got questions, comments?
No. I was just giving trying to calculate all the schools and the positions they held.
Yeah.
But okay, sure.
Again, this is Western Michigan, where nobody stays, everybody leaves.
Sure, you're trying to ascend to
Waster.
a
They
better
call it Waster.
waster. Perfect.
There you go. Everybody comes. Nobody. Forget it. No. I'm not going there.
Whoa.
So returning starters on offense, they got nine returning starters on offense, 8 on defense. So that's 17 altogether if you're starting 22. Like I said earlier, Phil Steele has them ranked 5th in the MAC this year. Their unit rankings in the MAC, Phil has them at the 3rd ranked QB, 2nd ranked running backs, 5th ranked receivers, 3rd ranked O-line, 6th ranked D-line, 4th ranked LBs, and 9th ranked defensive backs and 12
Okay.
special teams. So this is a step up from the Akrons. If you remember those rankings last week, it was a lot of double digits. So you got the senior quarterback, Hayden Wolf. He's back. You got a sophomore running back, Jalen Buckley. You got a senior wide receiver, Kenneth Womack. Wolf is projected as a second team All MAC player. You got a deep running back room here with Buckley leading the way. He was the league's top freshman a year ago. And then Womack, the receiver, he's projected as a second team All MAC player. And their offensive line is supposed to be one of the best in the MAC. They got 2 first teamers projected this year at left guard, Addison West, center, Jacob Gideon. And then on the second team, their left tackle is projected as an All MAC player, Adam Vandervest. So you got some step ups there from the Akron team, and I'll quickly go through the defense, and we can get into our score predictions and stuff. 8 returning starters on defense. They allowed 28 points or more in 7 games last year. Their corner seems to be the best defensive player on the team, Bilal Cone. He emerged last year. He's 6'2", 190. He had 4 starts, 42 tackles, 9 passes batted down last year alone. He's projected as second team All MAC. Then on the D line, they got a D tackle that's an Iowa transfer, Ontario Thompson. He is 6'3", 270, played 7 games at Iowa, not 7 starts, just played in 7 games. So some experience there in Big Ten play. Now, the Buckeyes have won 38-12 in our only meeting against these clowns back in 2015. The Buckeyes have won their last 3 against MAC teams by a combined score of 212-33. So let's pull up the current odds right now. This was not available earlier, so hopefully it is now. Now I'm scrolling. 7:30. That's just, there we go. Buckeyes are favored by 38.5, over under of 54.5.
Ooh.
Yeah. 38.5. So a little different story than last week. Not 50. Who wants to go first? Do you want me to flip a coin? Or can you work it out yourself?
Shawn, go ahead. Age before beauty.
There you go.
There you go. Actually, I looked at my sheet, my preseason picks, and I'm running with the same number, and it's pretty close to the spread and all that. It looks like I'm going to take the cover and the over, 48-10.
Okay.
Is that over? Would you say
that's you're not covering, man.
Oh, you're 38.5?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the under, Buckeyes. Give me the points. Give me the Bronx and the points.
Broncos and the points. All right. Sounds good. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
Joe, I don't have it in front of me, sorry, but can you give me my score prediction on that game? Because I have a number in my head.
I do have those. I don't have the number in your head.
No, I know.
I do have these numbers. You sure you know that?
You give me that number, I'll give you my number.
I got 42-13 for you, Jeff.
Number in my head, I had 42-10. So I will take the under and without a cover.
42-10, is that what you said?
42-10.
All right. Sounds good. I think this is I think I had 39-0 because I'm working off my 4 shutouts for the season, and we still don't have our first shutout, which is a problem. So I'm not sure what I can do about that to fix it, but there's only one way to do it. A night game shutout against these Broncos. Keep your damn horses off our damn field. I'm sticking with the 39-0. I don't know why 39. 38 makes a lot more sense if you think about it. But who knows? I'm gonna stick with mine, Shawn. You've kind of led me astray, I think, here by using my previous predictions. You're supposed to change your predictions. You never give the same prediction twice.
Hey,
Everybody
I
knows that.
I do I do a lot of research for this show, and when I put my thought into those
Here we go.
scores, then I stand by them. Now it's too early in the season. I'm sure going forward, some of mine are going to be altered, but I'm really happy with the 48-10.
Okay. All right. Well, uh, let's get into our microscopes here. Shawn, you're up first.
What are we going? Both sides of the ball or one?
Uh, let's go offense first because we may need to adjust.
Okay, let me go. Let me steal the guy. Then you said they've got like the ninth worst secondary. I want to see the Jeremiah Smith show continue. Let's feast. Let's get triple digits on the yardage, and
All right.
another pair.
Seems like we should make Jeremiah like not available. Like remember a couple of years ago, we didn't allow anybody to take C.J.
Quarterback.
Stroud.
Right,
Right.
right.
All right, we'll let it happen for this week. Week 3, maybe not. If he's going to lead the team in receiving every week, like what are we doing? You know. All right, you got it, Shawn. Jeremiah. Since you were first up, you get Jeremiah. Jeff, go ahead with your offense.
I'm gonna go back to Quinshawn Junkins.
Oh,
Let me. We didn't get to see what we saw Quinshawn in the SEC the last couple of years.
right.
I want to see him start to emerge and kind of hang with how Trey has come out of the gate looking.
Okay.
I have all complete confidence that he will. So I just want to see Quinshawn, kind of do his thing for us. Kind of
Okay.
show make his Buckeye statement.
All right. Got it. I'm going Will Howard. I think this is going to be a light show, laser show at night. Lots of fireworks, skyrockets in flight. Not an afternoon delight. So Will Howard, I'm looking at 300 plus, maybe 350. Um, some of which provided by J.J. Smith. So Will Howard is my offensive guy. Shawn, who you got on defense?
On defense, I'm going to have to go with Caleb Downs.
Oh,
I
Uh huh.
I let me see some of that juice that you had in Bama, and have a big game. This is a passing team. I think they're going to be busy back there. Broncos are going to come out trying their bestest. So let's see Caleb Downs be a little more impactful.
okay. I like it. Jeff, who you got?
I kind of veering a little bit away from where that. I think it sounds like what the numbers you were saying about MAC rankings. It looks like another small school to match physically that's going to try to run the ball, eat clock, like you said, Joe. Keep limited possessions. So I want to give me Sonny Styles. Let me see Sonny flash on the screen with double digit tackles, tackles for loss, blowing up running backs in the hole.
Hmm.
Sonny Styles. I think we're gonna get more of try to get that. They're gonna try to run, possess the ball. I think so. Sonny, show up.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, I got to think Cody Simon's going to be back this week. So I'm going with Simon on defense because
I didn't. Is he? I mean, I wasn't sure if he was, Joe.
I'm not
I wasn't sure.
guaranteeing that. I don't know. I'm not in the training table, but um, I think Simon's going to be back. They held him out. They held Donovan Jackson out last week. Precautionary kind of stuff. It's not like these guys are are in a wheelchair. But I think Simon will be back. They got to get these guys geared up, to start some of this run. And I mean, we do have a bye week next week, so you could keep them out if you wanted to. But I think it helps to get guys that are not seriously injured some action. So maybe I'm stupid, but maybe I'm talking myself out of it. But I'm going to go Cody Simon. I think this team's going to try and run the ball a lot, and I don't think they're going to have any success. And you can't bank on defensive ends and defensive tackles like having major splash plays every week, right? So that's where I'm at. Howard and Simon. Shawn has Jeremiah and Caleb Downs. Jeff has Quinshawn and Sonny Styles. So, what games you guys want to touch on this week from this weekend? Looks like it's 7-7 right now. USC and LSU. 7 minutes left in the first half. So, a surprising defensive struggle from two of the worst defensive teams from last season.
Yeah, neither defense. I thought it would be high scoring because neither defense showed any type of guts last year.
Right.
Joe, I want to touch on real quick the Clemson Georgia game.
Go nuts.
I picked Clemson to win the ACC. Not so confident about that pick. But Georgia looks like Georgia. They got a bunch of guys that you're like, oh, they got a white running back. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's fucking blowing up, making great plays. Clemson's offense sucks. Georgia looks like Georgia, like how I thought they would. Malachi Starks is pretty good. He's a pretty good fucking defensive back himself. They got hitters all over across that defense. Carson Beck's a good quarterback. Finds all their athletes everywhere. Clemson, third year at Klubnik. Come on, man. Yeah, they look good.
Clemson's D did
their defense, yes.
For the first half.
The first half, yes.
Got away from
defense, yeah. Their defense, their offense. I mean, their defense is light years ahead of their offense right now.
Yeah. Always has been, kind of. I mean, since Klubnik's taken over, anyways.
Yeah, but when they had their quarterbacks, though, they had studs. They had playmakers though on offense at least. I don't see a playmaker on Clemson's offense. I don't see a go-to guy, a playmaker at all.
I think Klubnik is part of the problem, honestly. I don't think he's that dynamic. I mean, they do have guys that can carry the ball and can catch the ball. I don't think he's that good a quarterback. I never did.
And he was the Elite 11 winner, that year.
Dabo ruined DJU. Trevor Lawrence got worse when he went to Clemson. That's no.
And Trevor Lawrence had. I mean, that's when they had weapons.
Right.
Across
but
the board,
his passing stats went down freshman to junior year, and multiple quarterback coaches like Trent Dilfer, the guys that ran Elite 11, they talked about how he digressed in his time at Clemson. So I'm not shocked that a quarterback got worse at Clemson at all.
But with the new OC, with Lincoln Riley's little brother, I forget his first name.
Garrett.
Okay, but like you think some offensive guru. They had Tony Scott was the OC, in years past.
Right.
They changed it to Chad Morris. They changed a few guys.
Oh shucks, boys! It's just like bobbing for apples. Shucks. Sometimes you get a good one and
what?
He's doing a Dabo impersonation, I think.
Oh. Tyler from Spartanburg fucking crushed Dabo. He bodied him.
Tyler.
So, all right. So we know that Clemson is a fake team. They're definitely not going to make the 12-team playoff, right?
Yeah, I'd like to revamp my 12 team.
They win in that conference?
Who else is going to? Miami?
Canes just bodied the Gators in the swamp.
Oh, boy.
Woolly swamp.
but
They had a
ACC's got to
four.
get 2, and it's got to
Oof,
be somebody.
it ain't Vitek.
No,
It ain't North Carolina.
no,
I I mean Florida State.
yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
geez, I don't know. I'm rethinking my 2 out of the ACC for sure.
They got Boston College tomorrow night, the rare Monday night game.
I, I like to see how Florida State bounces back. I'm
Beat
gonna
the
watch that
ass
game
in
close.
Tallahassee.
There's plenty of ass in Tallahassee now. Don't get that. Don't
Uh,
let's not get it twisted. Uh, but I don't know if they got a quarterback that, worth a damn. We'll find that out.
yeah, I'm not a DJU guy. I'm going to go ahead and pass on him. All right. So, how about Idaho, Oregon? Did you see that?
I had that was my third screen. I had Notre Dame A&M
Yeah.
going, Michigan,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't see Oregon. I want to see what they did against Idaho. Idaho they hung in there. The defense, the defense looked like they were hanging a little
Hmm.
while. Um, I expected Oregon blow 60 like an Ole Miss type score that 60 some 66-0 63-0.
Yeah.
Um, Oregon's gonna be there. I wasn't overly impressed, but the talent, the depth of talent, um, they're gonna be there. But yeah, they didn't. No, a lot of the teams didn't look great. A lot of those top teams, but
Yeah. Yeah. It was 14-7 end of the third quarter going into the fourth. Ended up 24-14. That's not a great finish for the Ducks. I mean, Gabriel had 380 passing, 2 touchdowns. Running game only had just over 100 yards. What else? Yeah, nothing fantastic from that team. I'm concerned about. I've heard their O line had a couple of injuries in fall camp, so that could end up being a problem. We have to. I'm going to track that personally because their O line is supposed to be one of their strengths coming into the year. So we'll see what happens there.
Oregon, like they're starting 22 really solid. Put them up there
Yeah.
with us and
Right.
Georgia and anybody. But
Yep.
does Oregon have that depth of talent?
Right.
We saw a couple. You said a couple of linemen out, a couple
Yep.
guys making their first starts, first time with real playing time. They didn't
Yep.
look sharp either. I expect Oregon to be hitting on all cylinders when we play them for sure. But it's nice to see the other teams, other top 5, top 10 teams struggled a little
Mhm.
bit, kind of like we did. Uh, we pulled away late, but it wasn't just every top 10 team had blowouts and looked great from the jump, and we the only ones that struggled. So there's
Mhm.
not this big. High State are they overrated? They're all hype. Um, but I don't anticipate Oregon not being what we all thought they would be start the year.
Yeah, we'll
They'll get
see.
it.
We'll
Get
see
it fixed.
if they can bounce back from those injuries.
But
What else here? Let's. What about Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Shawn? What do you think about that game? Big win, 10-point win from the 3-point dogs going into it with the Irish.
that was close to late till that last.
I
Till he
think
broke that
I
last
think
one.
I called that one. If you go back and rewind,
I can't rewind it. Sorry.
so
The future is now,
I mean,
Sean. We don't look in the past.
this is where I told you Notre Dame's going to be 5 in that. Notre Dame's getting a home game in this playoff. They got 2 tough games left, maybe tough. Florida
I'm not
State and
arguing with that.
USC.
Yeah,
Florida State and USC are their 2 remaining games.
Yeah, they're scheduled dog shit. You're right. Um, I
that helps when you don't play a conference championship game.
yeah, skirting them by on that. A&M, no offense. Defense looks good. But that was anybody's game starting the fourth quarter. I mean
Mhm.
that could have been won by any, but A&M doesn't have anybody behind center that can kind of Wegman. Fucker, who are
100
you,
yard.
dude?
He had 100 yards passing and 2 picks, no touchdowns.
Right.
Seriously.
But yeah, big win though. Big win to go into College Station. Though. It is a tough place to play. They seat like 120,000 in that fucking place. Uh, but big win for them to go on the road. I'm surprised. I was shocked that they were underdogs. That they were 3 point.
Yeah.
That did surprise me. But yeah, big win for Marcus. Man looks good. He sounds good on camera. He looks good on camera. Uh,
Mhm.
but I don't think Notre Dame's much of a threat though. I didn't see anything super impressive from them. Still don't have any playmakers on the outside.
Cool. He's definitely going to be in it.
Well, they're gonna be in it. Yeah, they're gonna probably one loss. I'm guessing
No,
one or two
Bad
losses.
Boys, the movie. Hello? Is
Yes.
this
Yes.
thing on? All right. Thank you.
Okay.
No? Yes? Hello?
Hello. Yes, we hear you, Joe.
I
Yes.
missed the reference.
We, I didn't get to. I didn't think it was funny. I got it. I just didn't think it was
Oh,
funny.
all right.
But carry on.
No. Yeah. Notre Dame's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out for them. Should go swimmingly. We'll see what happens with USC. It could be, I mean, what are you going to expect out of USC last week of the season? Honestly, I mean, I expect Notre Dame to spank them. I don't care where it's at. They're going to have a good defense. That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
USC could be vying for a playoff spot. I mean, who knows?
Oh shit,
They need to
dog.
win tonight. If they win
They're up
tonight,
10-7. You're right, Shawn.
there you go.
I mean,
10-7.
I had LSU. I had LSU in the 12 team. Joe, did you have LSU in?
Sure did.
I'm
I
hoping that
had
they found some
four.
defensive players. I was hoping they found some defensive talent. I
I
can't
had
believe
four
that
SEC
LSU.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else from week one? We got to check the chat here and wrap that up in 5 minutes.
Only thing, Joe. Only thing, real quick. Ole Miss. They looked the part. There was no no looking not sharp. Ole Miss from the jump came out, pounded, blew the score up, ran the score up, but there was a zero next to that score. You know what I
Same
mean?
with Mizzou.
Yep.
So yeah, I say Ole Miss. Ole Miss
Uh,
looked the part. Bama looked the part, of course, but
yeah.
Ole Miss looked impressive.
FCS teams
Yes,
don't
of
register.
course, of course. But
Yeah, they're
we should
playing
have. But
Townsend and
we could have easily looked that part against Akron. As far as being a lower max team, we should have looked that same way against Akron.
All right. Let's get to the chat here.
All right, let's go.
Billy is first one in. He says, "Howdy, gentlemen. Bring on the Broncos." I think he means the Western Michigan, not Denver. Odysseus OH with a bunch of nuts. Billy says, "IO." Billy says, "Hey, has Shawn done any advanced scouting on the Broncos signs?" Excellent question, Shawn.
Yeah,
Do
what
you
are you doing
have
up there,
those
Tom?
special
no,
recording
but I did see that
sunglasses?
I did see that Mumford got completely blown out, like 55-0 or
Yeah, they
something.
got smoked big time. Worth it. So worth it.
Well, remember in high school, remember the two receivers that swap spots. The coach is whispering in the receiver's ear, and he runs out to the huddle still. So
Right.
there's nothing to pick up for Stallions there.
Yeah. You have to start lip reading. All right. Odysseus says, you saw the difference without the sign stealing last night. If Fresno had a QB that could hit the broadside of a barn,
Jesus
the
Christ, that guy
Cheaters were in
sucks.
trouble. He was bad, but they
Oh wow.
still moved the ball on Michigan's secondary. I don't know why they bothered running the ball against Michigan, but they had much greater success throwing it.
Oh, I think it's the same reason they do it to us. To slow that game down.
Yeah. LSU, Odysseus says LSU by 7. Well, they're losing by 3 right now. Sorry. Billy says taking USC just because they're in the Big Ten. QB play and defense are big mysteries on both sides. You're right about that. Miller Moss versus Nussmeier, the quarterbacks here in this game, this USC game. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, you don't have any idea if these defenses got better or not. That's the beauty of week one.
Exactly.
It's kind of like your first date. You might
Well,
get
what do you
laid,
guys? Is this thing?
might
Does
get
this
punched
thing
in the teeth.
automatically end
What?
at 9 o'clock?
What's that?
Does this auto end at 9 o'clock?
Yeah, because I click end broadcast at 9 o'clock.
Oh, well, what? So, did we get or are we going to Michigan, Texas?
Do you want
Well,
to talk about
next
that?
week. Well, yeah, let's finish
Yes.
the chat. Yeah, we can get into that real quick, Joe. But yeah, finish the chat.
All right, I'm going to run through it.
Yeah.
Steven says LSU giving the points. Billy says Sparty has a long way to go. Billy says I
Cool.
don't see much difference in the run game compared to the last few years. Steven
Agreed.
says agree, Billy. Who's playing kick the can? Steven says agree, Billy. O-line still a question. Billy says, I thought Chip would be more creative in run calling. Maybe he's holding back to Oregon. I would say, to answer that one quickly, there were changes in the run game. They weren't like drastic, huge, overarching changes where you had two running backs in the backfield or something crazy. There were changes in the scheme, but they were very specific, like blocking assignments. These are very like detailed changes, you know. So I can get into that tomorrow, maybe.
Yep.
I'm not an offensive line meticulous. I don't have the all 22 tape either, but I can tell you there were changes in the run game. You're not going to see everything in week one. All right. So this is going to be trickled out, you know, like my bladder. Anyway, Odysseus says we lost 30 minutes third quarter by not stopping Akron for a series of downs. They got 11 total yards.
Yeah, the defense played good.
Yeah. Billy says, looks like USCD is picking up where it left off. I assume that means bad. Billy says, pass blocking was good, weren't getting to the second level enough on run plays. Agree 100%. Odysseus says, defensive MVP Jack, offensive MVP JJ. I think we're in agreement there. Odysseus says, those refs were pissing me off all game. It's Big Ten. It's Big Ten refereeing. We like to forget about how bad the Big Ten refs are, but we get a quick reminder week one. Steven says, Billy called that. OSU defense outscores Akron offense. Doug says, what's up, everybody? Steven says, hey, Doug. Billy says, thanks for remembering. Billy says, hey, Doug. Billy says, Broncos have a pretty good D, but Whiskey doesn't have much O. They didn't even try to throw the ball downfield. Not surprised there. Would you let Tyler Van Dyke throw the ball much downfield? I wouldn't. Just me. Billy says 45-6 for the Buckeyes this coming week. Steven has 42-10. Steven says I said it first. Okay. Rick says Ohio State and Akron ran 64 plays each. Hard to get 600 yards offense with only 64 plays. Close, but yeah. We'll call it an average of 64. Billy says if Mario doesn't Mario, I think Miami wins the ACC. Okay. We're running out of time, guys. Odysseus says I think everyone will be mad at the ACC gets an auto buy at year's end. Well, prepare to be mad.
It's going to happen, yeah.
Yep. And the Big 12 too, Billy says. Yep. Billy says Notre Dame doesn't have much of an offense. Not at all impressed with Leonard passing. No, I would not be either. Rick says Austin Sarabeld I saw yesterday was better than Donovan Jackson I saw last year. It's my take. I'm sticking to it. Okay, respect. I would say in the long run, I'm going to ride the third-year starter in Donovan Jackson than the 1 year or the one game starter against Akron. Rick says, I didn't hear you guys mention Arvell Reese. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Look like a guided missile out there, hoping he stays healthy and has a great year. Excellent
I
point.
like Wessel. I did like what I seen from Reese. Yes.
Yeah. He got in there early, too. He was in there in the second quarter. So I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So you got 1 minute to talk Texas and Michigan. Go ahead, Shawn. Sorry.
No, just after right now you've got I don't know what the line is if it's moved up from this morning, but it was like 5.5. Only 5.5, I feel. Um, I think that's only gonna grow. So
I
get your
got six and
Texas
a half, so it is growing, she said.
to get
Over
yeah, but
under
your
45.
6.5, your 6.5 is really 5. So I would say get your bets in, kids. Unless you're betting for Michigan, you're going to end up getting more points than that. It's going to go over a touchdown. I think their quarterback problems are real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and,
think did we talk about that? I think we talked about that. Yeah.
and their O line issues look that welcome to our world. You don't have that all world O line anymore, Michigan.
Yeah.
And Deadwards, I know you texted out, Joe. I don't know if you touched on it earlier, but you reading their message boards, they all want Deadwards basically to be you know, 2nd and 1 down back where you got the option to run or pass
Yeah.
but they don't. The fan base does not seem very high on Deadwards right now.
No, I wouldn't be either. Mullings actually had the better numbers.
That's what they're
He looks
saying.
better.
They want
He looks way
him to
better.
get 20 carries and
Hmm.
Edwards to have 8 to 10 touches, both running and through the air.
What's
That's
crazy
kind of
is
what
Mullings had 15 for 92, Edwards 11 for 27. That's nuts.
Well, people were
I
saying that, and kind of going back and you look at a couple of his long run plays, they're like
yeah.
he has terrible vision. And even
Yeah.
I know the Washington one, those long runs started out, he's running into the back of his O line and then has a chance to bust it outside. But the guy, I don't think he does have great vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked like Timbiaka Batuka against us. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
because
Well, his
he
speed,
bounced him
his
outside.
speed's for real. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. Yep. Once you get him in open space, but yeah, I'm taking the touchdown cover for the Longhorns in this one. Jeff, you got a quick 2 cents on this game?
I say Texas. I would take Texas plus 5. Plus 5. I don't know about a touchdown. I
It's 6.5.
we're gonna find
So
out how Texas's D line can hold up against Michigan's run game. That's gonna be the question. That's gonna be the decider. I still think Texas comes up there and squeaks one out. I think it's less than a touchdown though.
okay.
I just feel that Michigan's D is gonna keep them close, but
Oh yeah.
I think that offense is so inept that there's going to be 3 and outs, and that D, and hats off to them, they are good, especially against the run. But I think they're going to get wore down towards the end of that game. I think they might be out there a lot.
And they'll get tested. They're gonna. I mean, Texas is gonna take their shots. Ewers is gonna. They're gonna chuck the ball.
Mm.
So I mean, they're gonna get tested. You're right. Getting constantly 3 and outs, 3 and outs. Get that defense winded out there. Texas has got the players and the scheme and the quarterback to test them. The whole length of the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We'll
Horns
see how
up.
playing. That's a noon game, so that's first one up, and then you're gonna have to wait and wait and wait for the Buckeye game at 7:30. So there's not a lot in
Should I
between.
go to that audience question? Put it in the chat for later. Should I go to that? I was invited to go to that tailgate,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I'm going to be rooting for Texas at your tailgate party, and yeah, no.
Hey, Shawn, you
Yeah.
got any burnt orange in your closet? I certainly don't.
I don't have burnt orange, but my son's school is orange and black, close enough.
Yeah.
Maybe get something that's faded out, been washed a few hundred times,
There you-
maybe.
Yeah. Nice.
burnt, faded, / whatever.
All right. Well, great show, boys. We appreciate everybody joining us. Keep an eye out for your daily blitz. And then, of course, we will be live 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday, and back to you on Sunday night next week to recap the Buckeye game and get you set for the bye week. So that'll be quick. I'm sure we'll do plenty of talking about the Cheaters game against Texas. But anyway, Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you later.
Later, boys.
Go Bucks. What did I say?